For years, there has been a long-standing conspiracy theory that Hollywood and the elites harvest the blood of young people and transfuse it in order to reverse age. And now the Epstein files might have revealed that that is in fact true.
You believe that children are being abused by pedophiles in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
So why are you sitting down talking to me? Why aren't you sitting down with the police right now?
I've told the police. In fact, if anybody wants to go back to 1993 when I was interviewed by the Santa Barbara Police Department, I sat there and I gave them the names. They're on record. They have all of this information, but they were scanning Michael Jackson. All they cared about was trying to find something on Michael Jackson.
Epstein is Pizzagate. Let that sink in for a minute. Jeffrey Epstein is Pizzagate. 10 years ago, Pizzagate was by far the #1 trending topic on Twitter. But the claim of elites who preyed on was so insane that Pizzagate was shrugged off as a wild fever dream of a conspiracy theory.
How they eat, that is not bull. It's true.
So it's not just the dogs and the cats, not just the pets.
It's not just the dogs and the cats. They're full-on vampires, and everybody still thinks I'm crazy.
Everyone is deeply concerned about Jason Lee right now, and for good reason. This is a man who has spent years pulling the curtain back on celebrities, exposing truths that many people were too afraid to touch. He built his entire career on speaking openly, even when it made powerful people uncomfortable. And now, with the Epstein files finally being released, Jason Lee has turned the pressure up even more. But that's where the danger comes in. The people he's talking about don't play by normal rules. They don't fight fair. And according to whispers behind the scenes, Jason Lee's life may actually be in danger. If you're not fully familiar with who Jason Lee is, let's rewind for a moment. Jason Lee is the founder of Hollywood Unlocked, one of the most influential and widely followed entertainment news platforms in the industry. Over the years, he's broken stories that major outlets wouldn't touch. He's revealed secrets that were carefully buried, and by doing that, he's created a long list of powerful enemies who would love to see him silenced. But Jason doesn't stop. He keeps talking, he keeps posting, he keeps exposing. And ever since those Epstein files were released, he's been calling out names that have people genuinely shaken, names that mainstream media avoids, names that make executives nervous, names that powerful people never expected to be spoken out loud. And here's the problem. When you start exposing people with real power, they don't just threaten lawsuits. They come for you in other ways. We've seen this story before, time and time again. People who talk too much suddenly find themselves in unfortunate situations. And now many are worried that Jason Lee could be next. So let's break down exactly what's been happening. When the Epstein files first dropped, most of the public attention was focused on the biggest, most obvious names: Jay-Z, Pusha T, politicians, billionaires. That's where everyone was looking. But Jason Lee went deeper. He didn't just repeat headlines, he started connecting dots that nobody else was connecting. He looked at patterns, he examined relationships, he started exposing the entire system behind Epstein, not just the surface-level players. Jason took to his platform and openly discussed which celebrities had visited Epstein's island. He talked about flight logs, he talked about private planes, he talked about exclusive parties, he talked about who knew what and exactly when they knew it. And he didn't sugarcoat anything. He named names that made people deeply uncomfortable. That's when things started to get disturbing. Shortly after Jason began posting this information, strange things started happening. His social media accounts were suddenly targeted. Posts began disappearing without explanation. His content was flagged. Visibility dropped. It felt less like coincidence and more like someone was actively trying to shut him up before he could say more. Jason noticed it too, and he said so publicly. He told his followers that someone was trying to silence him. He said powerful people were making phone calls behind the scenes. He made it clear that he wasn't going to stop, but he also acknowledged that speaking this truth was putting him at serious risk. Then things escalated even further. People began reaching out to Jason privately, not fans, industry insiders, warning him, telling him to be careful, telling him that the people he's exposing don't just sue you or blacklist you, they do far worse, much worse. And this isn't paranoia, there's history. Look at what happened to brother Bilal. He was exposing Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. He filed a lawsuit alleging that Jada put a hit on him. Shortly after, he fled to Colombia. Then, suddenly, he was involved in a mysterious car accident. He ended up in a coma for weeks, brain dead, fighting for his life. And when he finally woke up, the first thing he reportedly said was that Will and Jada were behind it. That's what happens when you expose the wrong people. They don't just attack your reputation, they don't just try to ruin your career, they come for your life. That's why so many people are worried about Jason Lee right now. He's exposing celebrities connected to Epstein. He's naming names that other platforms won't even mention. And the deeper he goes, the more dangerous it becomes. Now, let's talk about what Jason has actually been saying, because it's explosive. Jason broke down how Epstein's operation truly worked. He explained that Epstein didn't just host random parties. This wasn't chaos, it was organized, strategic. Epstein would invite powerful people to his island, record everything that happened, and then use those recordings as leverage, blackmail, control. That's how he maintained power for so long. But here's the part that really shook people. Jason said Epstein didn't operate alone. He had help. He had people in Hollywood recruiting victims. He had handlers. He had intermediaries. He had celebrities who helped bring young girls into his orbit. He had an entire network designed to protect itself. And some of those handlers weren't behind the scenes. They were famous. Actors, musicians, public figures you see on television, people you listen to on the radio. These weren't just guests at Epstein's parties. According to Jason, they were part of the operation. Jason didn't always say their names directly, but he dropped enough clues that people started piecing it together. And once people figured it out, the shock set in, because some of these individuals have spotless public images, beloved reputations, good guy personas, the kind of people no one ever questions. That's why Jason is in such a dangerous position. He's not exposing small-time celebrities. He's exposing people with real influence, the kind of influence that makes problems disappear, the kind of power that's been protecting them for decades. Now, let's talk about the Shade Room situation, because this shows just how deep this goes. When the Epstein files first dropped, most of the public attention was focused on the biggest, most obvious names: Jay-Z, Pusha T, others. The post went up, and then within minutes, it vanished, completely deleted, like it never existed. Jason addressed this directly. He said powerful people made phone calls. He said the Shade Room was pressured to remove the post, and they did. No explanation, no follow-up, just silence. Jason, however, refused to stay quiet. He kept posting, he kept talking. He said he wasn't going to allow powerful people to control the narrative. He said the truth needed to come out, regardless of who it hurt. That's what separates Jason Lee from most media platforms. Most pages are scared. They don't want lawsuits. They don't want to lose access. They don't want enemies. So they fold. They delete posts. They look the other way. Jason Lee doesn't do that. Hollywood Unlocked was built on fearlessness, on telling stories nobody else would touch. And right now, that fearlessness may be putting Jason in serious danger. People online have noticed. They're posting messages like, "Protect Jason Lee. We can't lose another truth teller." And they're going to try to silence him just like the others. Because we've seen this pattern before. When people start exposing too much, bad things happen. Car accidents, sudden illnesses, unexpected deaths. Events labeled as coincidences, but they happen far too often to ignore. Even Cat Williams has spoken about this. He said Hollywood has a system for dealing with people who don't follow the rules. First, they destroy your career, and if that doesn't work, they destroy you. Jason Lee understands the risk. He's been in this industry long enough to know how the game is played. He knows what these people are capable of, and he's still choosing to speak. That takes real courage. But courage doesn't make you invincible. It doesn't protect you from people with unlimited money and endless connections. It doesn't stop a single phone call from changing your life forever. Jason has also spoken about specific celebrities, and that's what has people truly alarmed. He talked about celebrities who weren't just visitors to Epstein's properties, but regulars, people who returned again and again, people who knew exactly what was happening and kept coming back anyway. He talked about celebrities who brought others with them, who helped recruit, who became part of the machine. And he also talked about how some of these celebrities are still being protected today. Their names are in the files. The evidence exists, but nothing is happening. No arrests, no investigations, no consequences, because they have the right connections and enough money to make problems disappear. Jason believes that won't last forever. He said you can't hide millions of documents permanently. People are reading them, journalists are digging, and eventually even the protected ones will fall. But until then, Jason is taking the heat. He's saying what others won't. He's putting himself on the line. Even 50 Cent has publicly supported Jason through all of this. And if you know anything about 50, you know he's not scared of powerful enemies. He's been calling people out his entire career. 50 posted that the attacks on Jason are proof that he's over the target. When the backlash gets that intense, it means you're touching something real, something people desperately want hidden. And that's exactly what's happening here. The threats, the pressure, the attempts to silence him are proof that Jason is telling the truth. Nobody works this hard to shut you up if you're lying. So what does all of this mean for the rest of us? This isn't just about Jason Lee, it's about whether the truth can survive at all. If Jason is silenced, what message does that send to every other journalist, blogger, and content creator? It tells them the risk is too high, that speaking up isn't worth it, that powerful people will always win. That's why we have to support those who speak out. We have to amplify their voices. We have to make it impossible to bury the story by silencing one person. Jason Lee has a massive platform, millions of followers, and that attention may be the only thing protecting him. The more eyes on him, the harder it becomes for anything to happen quietly. So share his content, talk about what he's exposing, make sure people know what's going on, because awareness equals protection. And this story is far from over. The Epstein files are still being analyzed. More names will come out.